Good morning. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with the COVID-19 crisis in our country, and just again mention find a way to calm yourself and find peace in your life. I know everyone's kind of stressed out right now, and we're trying to help get everybody through that in the office. So I've got a piece that I'm going to push out later on my blog, but I wanted to run through this. I titled it "Dandelions Can't Grow in Concrete." And I'll explain that in a minute, but I want you to think about that because dandelions grow everywhere. And if we think of the COVID-19 virus, that might start to make some sense. The biggest problem I see right now with this whole crisis is the constant media noise about this. It's 24/7. One of my teens was in the other day in the office, and he mentioned that all he gets on his phone anymore is stuff about the COVID-19. And I think one of the best things you can do is just shut it off for a while and find a way to calm yourself. Pray, meditate, go for a walk, listen to some calming music, whatever works for you to help settle it down. Do things with your family if you're home with them right now. One of the things, I want to go back to the numbers to put some things in perspective again. I know everything's being hyped, and there are hot spots in the country like New York and some of the other big cities. And so for those of us that live in smaller towns in the country, can breathe a sigh of relief, because I don't see that happening in these less populated areas because of the population density. So if I go to the CDC yesterday afternoon, so far, if we look at influenza, there have been 39 million flu incidences reported to the CDC. And mind you, this is voluntary reporting, it's not mandatory. Out of those cases, about 400,000 were hospitalized, and there were 24,000 deaths. This is from the normal influenza that comes around on an annual basis that we are told to get a flu shot for. But let's put that in perspective. Last night, from the same CDC website, there are 186,000 cases associated with the coronavirus, and of those, 3,603 deaths. That means there's about a 2% death rate, and that's about the same thing that was reported in Italy. So again, think about where we're at with this virus and what the normal influenza virus does or did, and we didn't really pay much attention to it. So the problem with the noise is it creates fear and anxiety, and I'm talking about noise from the media and all the discussion. So that affects our health. Fear and anxiety creates stress. Stress increases our cortisol levels. Cortisol suppresses your immune system. That's not what we want right now, because we want our immune system to work, and that goes back to that title on the story. So remember, we have little effect on what's going on around us. The only thing we can choose to affect is our response to what's going on, and that's the biggest thing I want you to do, is think about stress reduction. I mentioned prayer, I mentioned yoga, I mentioned meditation. Go outside. It's a beautiful spring day. Listen to the birds sing. Listen to some quiet music at home. Read a book. Those are the things we need to stay healthy right now. You can choose to be reactive, so reacting to this whole situation, or you can be proactive and start working to improve your health and your immunity. And there are many things we can do that we've learned over time with that. So turning off the TV and decreasing your cortisol level is a great place to start. So what can you do? Limit or avoid alcohol intake right now. It's a toxin. Limit sugar intake. That drives the immune system down. There are plenty of studies that prove that sugar and carbohydrates that turn into sugar suppress our natural killer cells, which get rid of viruses and bacteria in our body. If you look at the Italian data, the highest risk categories were those with diabetes and hypertension. You can treat and effectively get rid of those things by managing your diet. So that's being proactive. Avoid smoking and vaping. Why would you want to put toxins into your body when you're trying to keep it healthy and improve your immune system? Now's a great time to say, hey, I'm going to quit smoking or vaping. Get it done. Eat foods that are free of chemicals and preservatives. Our food supply is literally killing us. There are thousands of toxins in the food preparation process, and things start out with glyphosate residues. Those glyphosate residues kill our gut bacteria, and our gut bacteria are 70 to 80% of our body's immune system. So buy as much organic food as you can afford to do. That's an important thing. Be physically active, exercise, get out and walk. Being a couch potato isn't good for your immune system either. Sleep is important. That goes back to turning off the TV. You need 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. That's where our body heals and restores. That's where our body gets rid of damaged cells and our immune system really restores and starts to work its best. So really focus on getting that sleep. That's where your body does its house cleaning, as I call it. Supplements, we talked about those before, and I have the list on this. We'll push it out on the blog. Vitamin C, 2,000 to 4,000 units a day. It's been hard to find. We've found some extra from a bulk distributor. We've got it in the office. If somebody wants to come by and get it, we can mail it out. But we do have vitamin C available. Vitamin D3 with K2, we have that available as well. Vitamin D helps improve the immune system function, and it helps make sure that abnormal cells in the body die appropriately, so it helps prevent cancer and other long-term health conditions. Magnesium, zinc, selenium, those are all important things. I've got dosages listed in the article. Elderberry, echinacea, medicinal mushrooms like reishi, quercetin, garlic, and oregano are all helpful to help boost the immune system. There's some things we don't talk about really to help kill viruses and bacteria. I mentioned colloidal silver last time in my video. I've been using the colloidal silver as a nasal spray between patients to make sure that anything that I inhale doesn't survive in my nose and throat, so the virus can't get into my body. Iodine is another thing, so using a drop of Lugol's iodine in a small glass of water, using that to rinse, gargle, and swallow also helps kill bacteria. So what can we do from our diet? What I call our SAD diet, SAD stands for Standard American Diet, like I mentioned, is really toxic to our health. And one of the things I've witnessed in the grocery store is people are buying all the junk food. Now that's great for me because we buy all the healthy stuff, fresh organic vegetables, things around the outside of the store, if you will, that we prepare fresh at home, grass-fed beef, clean dairy products, fermented foods in the refrigerated section. So think about this simple fact. Let's go back to the title of the article. Dandelions seem to grow everywhere. You can't get rid of them, and what do we do then? Then we spray that wonderful glyphosate on them, which, by the way, kills our gut bacteria. So enjoy the beautiful yellow flowers and those wonderful puffballs. Have your kids blow them around the neighbor's yard. That'll be some fun entertainment. When we think about the immune system being the terrain, or what the dandelion seeds would land in and grow, we need to keep our terrain healthy. And if you think of our immune system being tough and healthy, it's like concrete. If dandelion seeds land on concrete, they can't grow there. If our immune system is weak, it's like a nice fertile soil for them to grow. Same thing with the COVID-19 virus. It can't exist without us, and it needs our cells to work. And if our immune system is healthy and working properly, it will help prevent that. And if we do get it, our recovery will be much more quick. So this goes back to Louis Pasteur, who came up with the germ theory of disease. He said that germs are the cause of disease, and he's partially right. There was another guy, Antoine Béchamp, and he postulated that the primary cause of disease is the terrain theory. And so that goes back to what I just mentioned. You need an unhealthy terrain for viruses and bacteria to take hold. So they were both right, but Louis Pasteur did mention shortly before he died that Béchamp was probably correct, that the terrain is important. And that's going to be your job while you've got this time off right now, to work on thinking, what am I going to do to improve my health, and start to make those plans going forward, because this is a long-term issue. It's not something you're going to fix today till tomorrow. So what are you going to do? 70–80% of our immune system is in our gut, like I mentioned. And so we can start to work on our gut health. And that's one of the most important things that you can do. Simple thing, change to what I call a Mediterranean diet. That does not include drive-through fast food. So fast food is something you drive past, not through. And that's a really important thing to remember. Lots of fresh, organically grown fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. And we need to boost our intake of omega-3 fatty acids. We don't eat enough seafood, and we eat mostly grain-fed beef, which is high in omega-6s. So our omega-3, omega-6 balance is way off. It should be 1 to 4, and we're about 1 to 15 or 1 to 20 in this country. And that's unhealthy for our body as well. And so really adding in cold water fish or a fish oil supplement if you don't like seafood. And I take our fish oil supplement every day myself, in addition to eating some wild-caught Atlantic salmon. So avoid chemically preserved foods, artificial sweeteners, foods that are loaded with carbohydrates. So pastries, candies, processed grains, and other foods high with a glycemic index. Insulin sensitivity: if you get too many calories in, your body boosts insulin. Insulin is a pro-inflammatory hormone. Yes, it controls blood sugar, but if you've got insulin resistance and your insulin is high and your blood sugar is high, again, that suppresses your immune system. So working on a lower glycemic index diet would be great. Thinking back to those people with diabetes, we measure a hemoglobin A1C. That's a measure of damage to the hemoglobin molecule, and that shows us that the blood sugar damages tissue in our body, namely our immune system. So one of the best ways you can combat this whole issue is to keep your immune system healthy, and that goes back to the diet, the exercise, and the sleep. Adding in vitamins and minerals. So a simple place to start, just add in a healthy multivitamin. And I'm not talking about the small, dense, compressed one a day that you can buy at the Walmart or Walgreens. You need to buy really a whole foods vitamin, or one that's in a capsulated form, because when you heat and compress something, you're damaging the very nutrients you want to put into your body to help it. And we need those micronutrients that better vitamins actually incorporate in them, because they're not in the foods that we're eating these days. Those are important things. Probiotics, another good thing, helping our gut bacteria. People say that that's a simple place to start. You can incorporate healthy fermented foods into your body, like sauerkraut, pickles, that sort of thing. Those are good to add in. And so stay home right now. Do what you need to do to isolate. Go out and enjoy nature with a walk. Practice good hygiene. Take care of yourself and your family. But look in on your friends and neighbors as well. Connect with them on Facebook. Make sure they're doing okay. Share the toilet paper. Do other things to help each other out, because together we're all going to do well through this. So remember, weeds don't grow on concrete, so really strive to work on improving your health. And if I can help you in that manner down the road, let me know. We'll be able to help you with that. So keep your train strong and healthy so you can live your best life. Thanks, and if you want the details, go to the website. It'll be on our blog.